Did you ever wonder how women all over the world, how they make their decisions about wearing their clothes and their hair? I mean, you know, being a typical befuddled guy, I don't have any idea. All I know is that you're walking down the street one day and all the women are wearing perfectly normal pants down to their ankles. You come back the next day and everybody's wearing, I guess, what they used to call pedal pushers. They're about 6 inches above their ankles. And it's just like somebody turned a switch. You don't really hear anybody make an announcement saying, okay, all women, you will now wear your pants very, very short. I don't know how that happens, but it does happen. It's the same thing when we talk about black mob violence and black criminality wildly out of proportion. It seems like there's every year, or every 6 months, every 3 months, somebody flicks a switch and we get a very fashionable change in reaction to it. I mean, last year the big reaction was a campaign started by the National Association of Black Journalists, and I don't know who started it with them, but their big campaign was the image of black men in the media. And so they were very concerned about this ridiculous level of black criminality and violence being reported in the media, except they didn't want to ask the black people to change their criminal ways. They wanted reporters to stop reporting that black people are involved in these crimes. I mean, this has been going on for a while, but every time it starts sneaking in, we start seeing more people identified by race as the criminals. Then we get some pushback like we got from the National Association of Black Journalists saying, hey, stop reporting black crime. Why are you doing that? I mean, these are the same reporters that if some clown with a sign gets up and makes all these unfounded comments about white racism and he just walks around a downtown area at random, he's going to get full network. He's going to get full coverage from the local network affiliates, if not the network itself. And so they flick these switches on and off, and somebody flicked the switch a few months ago, and the switch is, we white people should stop calling the police on black people, because as we're going to see in this story, it's a sign of hate, it's a sign of bigotry, it's a sign of every bad thing in the world except black criminality. Let's take a look at this video. Pay special attention to this professor they bring in of urban studies from Cleveland.
They are happening so frequently, they're hard to keep track of.
Permit Patty, upset about a little girl selling water. And Barbecue Becky, trying to shut down a cookout. They're the white women captured on cell phone video calling police on African Americans.
We've seen it here at home, too. A young entrepreneur in Maple Heights coming face-to-face with officers, all because he was cutting a client's lawn. News 5's Mike Brookbank here. Now, Mike, this trend is quite disturbing now for those in Cleveland working to improve race relations.
Yeah, it is, Rob and Danita. But this type of behavior we know is nothing new. It's just more visible as people use the current climate in this country to show their true colors. And of course, when it happens, in many cases, as we've seen, a camera is rolling.
I'm a veteran, and the things that I see our country doing, I never thought I would see in my lifetime.
Racial unrest, according to Ronnie Dunn, reaching new heights.
People doing things no more than just being in public space.
And for some these days, that's enough to get police involved.
Legally selling water without a permit?
It's a move that this professor of urban studies at CSU says can have deadly consequences.
By merely picking up the telephone, calling the police.
Dunn concerned with ongoing interactions between African Americans and law enforcement.
Just make sure that what activities you're observing, if that person were of another race or ethnicity, would you make that call as well?
There's also a push to get police departments to change how they handle these types of racially charged requests.
Based on the information given, whether it's a call that they need to respond to as well.
I think we need to take a step back and say, whoa.
Anita Gray with the Anti-Defamation League in Cleveland.
You cannot draw a picture of an American.
Tells me this out in the open hate can lead to change.
It helps because good people of all colors and persuasions step up and say, wait a minute, this is too much.
As for where we go from here,
We need everybody to be listening, watching, and speaking up.
some are looking to white Americans to be the catalyst for change.
They are the ones that are initiating these calls when African Americans are just going about their daily lives doing innocuous activities.
It's something Dunn believes will need to happen, not at a national level, but right here at home.
It's going to take communities to really engage in these important and critical dialogues. I just never thought I would see America where we are at this point.
Now, Dunn tells me these calls are the result of pervasive stereotyping of African Americans as suspect. He added, as cases like these pile up, it's easy to become tired, but he is encouraging those on the front line of race relations here in Northeast Ohio to stay strong and to not give up.
Whenever I think of Cleveland, I always think of the story of the husband and wife had a family. They lived on the fringe of, I think they call it East Cleveland. And they were calling the cops constantly because the fellas and their lovely ladies were going into their store, into their car dealership, threatening, vandalizing, stealing. And it was happening over and over and over. And they kept calling and the cops kept not showing up. The cops kept not doing anything. Got so bad that a local TV station sent a camera out there to do a story with them, and they said they laid it out right on the line. We've done this story many times here. They laid it right on the line, and they said, "Listen, this is turning into East Cleveland. We don't understand why we can't get the police to pay attention to the crime out there." Before that segment aired on local TV, that husband and wife were discovered dead by their son because a couple of fellas came in with a gun and killed both of them and stole a car. Call or no call. I love these professors, right? It's like, where was that professor explaining all this stuff when that husband and wife were on the ground of their garage, blood all over the damn place? Where was the professor? Where was that idiot reporter? Where was that idiot from, what was that, the Anti-Defense League or the, whatever it was called? Where were they? Where were they contemplating this ridiculous level of racial hostility that has elevated black and white crime and violence to unheard of levels? No, all we get is this professor going, oh, calling somebody who's, oh, by the way, illegally having a barbecue, illegally. I didn't make the stupid laws. I didn't make the stupid laws that you can't have a certain kind of barbecue here, but not there. But those are the laws that the people in that town, I think it was Oakland, made. This lady wanted the cops to come in and just write him a ticket, clear it up. Now she's like a bigot. And so what they're really saying, this professor is really saying, and this idiot reporter, that idiot anchor, that idiot member of the Anti-Defamation League, is crime is the new black entitlement. We white people should not call the cops on black people. You heard him say it. This isn't a joke anymore. It's not a parody. It's real life. Crime is the new black entitlement. And we get that from no less an authority than Mike Brookbank of a local network affiliate in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, stay strong out there to fight all this white racism that's constantly killing black people. Oh, yeah, yeah. Good Lord, you go into Cleveland, you can pick up black and white crimes by the dozens and dozens and dozens for every example of white on black crime. And notice the difference in quality in the crime. One hand we have murder, the other hand we have somebody calling the cops just to check out a suspicious person in the neighborhood. You know, the thing they tell us to do all the time. Black criminality and violence against white people is just continuing non-stop. How about this latest example down near Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, police say it was nothing more than a server here at this Applebee's brushing up against the knee of a customer as she was laying the plates on the table. Well, when it happened a second time, that's when fists started flying.
They were out of control.
Watch as 4 women get up and attack the 21-year-old woman who was serving them their meal. You can see one of them punch the young woman so hard it knocks her backwards. Soon, all 4 were wailing on her. Other employees and patrons at the Applebee's in McDonough break it up, but one of the 4 women comes back for one final blow.
She comes running around everyone and punches the victim again.
Police say the moment they stood up, one of the 4 customers grabbed a knife off another employee's tray. It looked like this one, and used it on the server.
And as she walked by, she grabbed the knife and stabbed her in the arm.
She needed 15 stitches to close the gash. Police believe the women also stole the server's money from her apron.
And she said she had between $200 or $300 in there from tips and but mainly tabs that she had collected in cash.
Detective T.F. Spangenberg says it all started when the server accidentally brushed up against the knee of one of the customers while putting plates on the table. The detective says it wasn't over until someone else in the restaurant yelled, "Police are coming." At that point, the women pick up their purses and casually walk out, leaving the restaurant in shambles and the server needing medical attention.
Where's Mike Brookbank? Where's Mike Brookbank? 4 women beat the hell out of a white girl and stab her for no damn reason whatsoever other than she was white, they were black. Okay, you don't have any proof of that. No, what we have is patterns, you idiot. We have patterns. Pattern recognition is the most elementary kind of intelligence test. If you can't tell the difference between an apple and a moving car, you're not going to be around this planet very long. And so now the question is, call or don't call? Well, should she call? Well, what happened? Why did those ladies beat you up? Well, they were just having a bad day. Is it part of any pattern? Well, Atlanta, in this Henry County, they didn't want to call it part of a pattern as much as it is. The people who are victims of these crimes, they don't want to become victims twice. The first time when they get stabbed, the second time when everybody calls them a bad name because they accurately depicted the pattern of what the crime they were just involved in. But why don't we head down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a chocolate city? That's a chocolate city full of nothing but violence, mayhem, chaos, murder, gunfire. The chief of police figured out what's going on and who was responsible, and he even said so.
A tough problem in Tuscaloosa is meeting even tougher talk from Police Chief Steve Anderson, speaking directly to young men tonight and not mincing words.
We're going to go after them with everything that we have and try to make their lives miserable.
Tuscaloosa's police chief hoping to turn a page and hopefully curb violence.
It's extremely frustrating that no matter what we do, it doesn't seem like the individuals in our community, actually the ones that are causing the problems, the young black males with guns, are getting the message.
So what's up with that chief of police? Where did he get the idea that black people with guns are destroying that town of Tuscaloosa if it's not already destroyed? Where did he get the right to say that when the people in Cleveland do not have that right? People in Oakland do not have that right. It's just amazing to me that these reporters can just buy into this so easily. No cognitive, on their part, they believe there's no cognitive dissonance whatsoever. Enormous amount of black violence reporting out one day. They won't say black violence, but you look at it, you see that's what the numbers show. Then the next day they're going, hey, why are people calling the cops on black people? Why are white people doing that? Well, I know why. Because they're very, very, very bad people. Every white person on the planet is a big, fat, nasty racist except for me. Every reporter in the world believes that, by the way. Because they think believing that is the best way not to make the black kids angry.